All right, man. Yes, I am late. I am late. I just slammed an energy drink. I am behind. I am late, so I apologize. I am. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is when I originally set this show up. I was really hoping to do a piece on my Kansas City Chiefs going to the Super Bowl and how great this was, and well, that's not going to happen. I got a lot of content to cover. I messed up and I missed the East-West Shrine game, but I've been going over a lot of draft stuff. Daniel Jeremiah has top 50 prospects out. One of the things I like the most is that Breece Hall. Now, I use the Draft Network, but I always kind of default to Daniel Jeremiah. Is that Breece Hall for the Draft Network was somewhere between like 120 and 140. And I'm like, I think this guy could be a first rounder. And Daniel Jeremiah, I think, has him as a pick number 34 or a prospect number 34. So kind of like that. And we talked about his mock draft. For you Lions fans, I'm seeing you guys in the chat. I'm kind of surprised that you hated his mock so much about Malik Willis at 31. That to me makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right, here. One Pride, welcome, brother. Yes, James is here, and he's on time. I'm late. James, welcome, brother, man. It's really good to see you. Funk, what is up? I love the new logo. I love the logo. That is badass, man. What is up? Red Sea says, I tried to warn you last week. Yes, you did. We were in an Instagram chat, and Corey's done some trash talk. By the way, great article on Fansided. I'm trying to remember here. I posted it on Facebook. I think there was an issue with my Twitter. I should put a link here, and I apologize for not doing that. Red Sea's under the weather, so man, I'm glad to see you in the comments, brother. I'm really glad. And by the way, congratulations. If you haven't had a chance to check out Corey's article on Fansided for the Cardinals mock draft, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's really good, and it's kind of cool. And after the Super Bowl, what the plan is that I'm going to dive huge into the draft. But what I'll do is after next week, I'm going to give you my Super Bowl pick. Not this week. I already put action on the Super Bowl. I have a bet on the Super Bowl. You gotta wait till next week to hear the bet, though. But what I'm going to do is after the Super Bowl, I'm going to spend the next 4 shows going over my over-under process. And what it is that after the season's over, I have a spreadsheet. I put all 32 teams on the spreadsheet, and I just simply go plus minus. And I sometimes kind of make more mental notes and physical notes. But what I'll do is I'll just break it down, 8 teams per episode. I'll just go east, west, north, south, and just kind of give you like plus minus. Usually teams that are picking higher in the draft, I would give a plus to. Teams that are, that made the playoffs, usually it's a minus. Not always. But I'll kind of go over the whole process with you and how I look at the over-unders. Even though I have a loss this year for the in-season betting and overall a loss, my over-unders for the year was a positive. So anyway, that's kind of going to be the process of the show. And then, of course, we're going to do just tons and tons of draft stuff. I'm kicking myself for missing the East-West Shrine game, but I saw a lot of highlights. I'm going to become obsessed with Daniel Jeremiah. I love Mel Kiper and Todd McShay, but I don't do the ESPN Plus. It's so petty of me. I don't want to pay the extra $5. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of ESPN anymore. anymore. So I default to the NFL Network, and basically I will listen to everything Daniel Jeremiah says over the next couple months. So, Alex, how's it going, Dan? Sorry about the Chiefs, but the kid, Alex, you called it weeks ago. I think during the divisional round you picked Bengals and Rams, and I'm like, yeah, but you called it, man. You called it. You picking the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl next year. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over all the new coaching hires. I wanted to go into more detail, but I got kind of tied up today. But I do want to go over. The Raiders head coaching hire. I thought the Jaguar. I have no idea why I messed up somehow, but I was convinced Byron Leftwich got the Jaguars job. I have no idea why. I thought it was official, and it was kind of the trend that the NFL's been going under, is that teams want to hire brand new, first-time offensive minds. Take a look at the Super Bowl. Neither one of these guys have been head coaches before. They were very young when they were hired. And by the way, give a ton of credit to the Cincinnati Bengals, because I know for a fact there's probably 29 to 30 NFL teams that would fire their coach if they won 6 games in 2 years, which Zach Taylor did. And give a ton of credit to Mike Brown. For sticking with the guy. I'm going to tell you right now, he wouldn't have lasted in Kansas City. I know that. If you think your team would keep Zach Taylor after 2 seasons and 6 wins, I would be really surprised. But anyway, I told you beginning of the season it was going to be real hard for Kansas City to get back. Yeah, I'm really mad about it, and it's kind of affected the way I did the show, because when they were up 21-3, I was like, yeah, I was expecting this. 21-10 at half, I was kind of like, if you didn't see the way the half ended, the Chiefs left points on the board, but they were getting the ball in the second half, and the Bengals have a smaller defensive line. The Chiefs have one of the bigger, more physical offensive lines, and I wish Andy Reid would have channeled some inner Marty Schottenheimer, but he didn't. And then they win the coin flip in overtime. I'm like, okay, we got this. And then for some reason or another, the first 2 plays of overtime, they make plays for DeMarcus Robinson, who's not going to be on the team next year. I mean, I think Tyreek Hill will eventually be in the Hall of Fame. He's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer no matter what he does. From now to the end of his career. Travis Kelce will be a first ballot Hall of Famer when everything's said and done, unless he, shoots a baby. Patrick Mahomes will probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer as well. I mean, at least that's the way the arc's going. I really believe. Here's the deal, Funk. I'm going to do everything possible during free agency, during the draft, during the offseason, during preseason, to convince myself that the Chiefs can get back to a Super Bowl. But the truth is, I think it's the end of an era. I really believe it's the end of an era. And if you go back through the history of the NFL, the greatest show on turf was a 3-year, event. Eric Coryell offense was a 3-year event. I think the Oilers run and shoot offense had like a 4-year span of being almost unstoppable between 90 and 93. They had collapses in the playoffs, but there was like a 3 or 4 year stretch where they were, consistently one of the top offenses in the league. I said this at the beginning of the season. I thought this was going to be the Honey Badgers last year, a 3-year stretch in Kansas City, and 2 Super Bowls and an AFC Championship games, not bad. Frank Clark's due $28 million. There's all sorts of Chiefs talk about how we can cut him and Hitchens, and and probably going to lose Honey Badger. I mean, we got like a long list of free agents. Several of them are starters. So again, I'm going to default to Daniel Jeremiah, and I'm seeing one price. Yeah, I'm surprised that you guys are this feel this way on Willis at 31. Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft had Jameson Williams going to Kansas City in the first round, and that would be a home run. I don't think he lasts that long because he was arguably the best receiver. Corey, you kind of tell me who was your number one wide receiver. I think you're really high on that London kid. Is it London or Loudon, the USC wide receiver? I know you're really high on him. A lot of people thought Jameson Williams would have been the number one receiver coming out if he was 100%. And for him to go to Kansas City at 30-31 sounds awesome. And it looks great on paper. It looks fantastic if you're playing Madden. But I do think it's an end of an era here in Kansas City. Andy Reid won 4 straight NFC championships. He didn't go to a 5th. I think that the Andy Reid era is closing fast. I don't think it's the back 9. I think it's like the back 3. I think he's going to be here for another 2-3 years. We lost our quarterbacks coach to Buffalo. Great hire by the Buffalo Bills, by the way. Great hire by the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, I'm ranting. I slammed the energy drink and I got coffee. So I'm going to be all over the place today. I'm going to be all over the place. Chiefs Bank. Yeah. If you're not a Chiefs fan, it's one of the greatest games you'll ever see. And I'm not going to give you a prediction, but I am going to say this, and I'm going to say the same thing next week. And I'll say the same thing, whether the Bengals win or lose, is that I'm a big fan of the history of the NFL. I know I need to do a retro show. This Bengals team reminds me a lot of the 1981 49ers team. If you know your history, the 1979 49ers drafted Joe Montana, and in his second year, he leads the 49ers to a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, second year, leads the Bengals to a Super Bowl. 1980, it's 81 Super Bowl, 80 football season. So, but you know what I mean. And they had a really bad defense, specifically a really bad secondary. So what they did was in the second round, they drafted Eric Wright as a rookie Pro Bowl corner, had several Pro Bowl seasons in both 80, 81 and 84. He went to the Pro Bowl. Those are the years that the 49ers won the Super Bowl. He's not Hall of Famer, but really, really good player. And in the first round, they drafted a corner who you probably heard of by the name of Ronnie Lott. And they drafted these 2 rookies. They put them at corner, and they ended up being a Pro Bowl pair as rookies. Really, really unusual. I'm not saying he's the greatest safety of all time, but if you said, Dan, who's best safety you ever lived, the first name that pops in my mind is Ronnie Lott. But the first, I think 5 years of his career, he was a corner, and a really good corner, a better safety, but a Pro Bowl corner, and maybe one of the best safeties ever. If you tell me Palomalu or Ed Reed, or for you old time guys, Ken Houston, I think Funk's a big Brian Dawkins fan. We can debate that at a later time, but the first name pops in my mind when I hear greatest safety who ever lived is Ronnie Lott, and then I think Ed Reed's better than Palomalu by like this much. But my point is that the Bengals needed a weapon. I know that Chase plays receiver and Ronnie Lott plays corner, but in 1981, corner was a more important position than wide receiver. Today, wide receiver is more important than corner. It's more important than running back. I think in today's game, wide receivers maybe the fourth most important position. I think it's quarterback. I think it's left tackle. I think it's edge rusher. And then I think in today's game, you need that wide receiver. I consider Travis Kelce a receiver, even though he plays tight end. I know comparing Jamar Chase to Ronnie Lott's a huge stretch, but I'm just talking year one and the impact he had year one. Ronnie Lott was part of a USC team. I believe they won a national championship. That secondary was loaded. They had Joey Browner. They had Dennis Smith. At one point in time, that secondary room included a safety by the name of Marcus Allen. They wisely moved him to running back where he won a Heisman Trophy. The first college running back to break the 2,000-yard barrier was Marcus Allen at over 2,300 yards. Almost unanimously won the Heisman. But he was, coming out of high school, the number one safety and arguably the number one prospect coming out of high school. Marcus Allen is a really good safety. Not a bad running back, by the way. And I know it's a stretch, but he's had a very similar impact to Ronnie Lott and Eric Wright did on the 1981 Niners. So that's kind of the correlation. You got second-year quarterback. Joe Burrow reminds me a lot of Joe Montana. I know a lot of Chiefs fans want to insult him. They want to call him a dick. A lot of Chiefs fans are cheering for the Rams. Listen, Bill Belichick lost the 2006 AFC Championship game down 21-3 or up 21-3 at half. The Chiefs were up 21-10 at half. They were up one time 21-3. So you can be I consider Bill Belichick the greatest head coach of all time, and he lost an AFC Championship game up 21-3 at half. But yeah, this is tough. All right, I know I'm all over the place. I am not on cocaine. It's just an energy drink and coffee. I'm really, really surprised that you guys wouldn't want Willis at the end of round one. I'm really, really surprised. I'm really surprised that you guys really are this down on that. I think this would be a home run for the Lions. I really would. I really think this would be a home run for the Lions. Here's the deal. He would help your offense immediately, and he gets to sit on the bench for a year. And that's what you want. That's what you want. I mean, he would have no pressure to play. Well, actually, there would be pressure because I think Dan Campbell is like on the burning hot seat. Out of all right now, going into the 2022 season, the number one coach on the hot seat is Dan Campbell. That's just a fact. But I mean, Willis at the end of round one, I think it would be a home run for the Lions. I'm really surprised you guys feel this way. Yeah, the helmet's cool, man. That is just badass, man. That is really bad. All right. Going to go into the Texan head coach situation in a second. But right now it's being said Houston's already come to a decision. Oh, that is awesome. Please keep me informed, Alex. Please keep me informed. I really thought that Kevin O'Connell, who took the Vikings job, would end up in Houston. And I was really excited about that because I don't think they're similar players at all. And I don't even want to do the comparison. But Davis Mills and Stafford, kind of similar type players, kind of, sort of. I was trying to think of like who is a Davis Mills, who's Davis Mills remind me of, and I'm having a hard time because most of your gunslinger type quarterbacks are usually got more brash, and this is a quiet type dude. It might be a big stretch, but kind of reminds me of Drew Bledsoe a little bit. He's got more mobility than Bledsoe, but just big arm, though. What I saw of Davis Mills this year was exceptionally impressive. And I'm also going to say this. I still think Watson's number one destination would be the Giants, even though they said publicly that they're going to stand behind. 20 minutes into the show, I already forgot the name. I'm jacked up today. I'm really jacked up. Daniel Jones. They said publicly they like Daniel Jones, but privately you have the 5th and the 7th pick. Let me ask you this. You're a Texans fan. Deshaun Watson for number 5. Would you be mad? Just number 5. Just number 5. I like the Senior Bowl over the Pro Bowl. Yeah, I do too. I do too, one pride. And I'm mad because I meant to DVR it. I had a lot going on this week. No excuse. But excuse me. But yeah, I meant to DVR it anyway. But yeah, I like the Senior Bowl better. I like the Giants higher. Right now, there's a trend with the NFL that you want to hire a first-year offensive coordinator. A lot of Chiefs. There was some Chiefs media talking about, because Dable had a really bad season as offensive coordinator in Kansas City. I think that's a good thing. I think it's good when you learn and build from your experience. I hated the fact that they kept on using Josh Allen as a running back. I thought that was dumb. But I like that. One of the things he's done is he brought in Mike Kafka, the Chiefs quarterbacks coach. There's talk about Kafka being an NFL head coach. Mike Kafka will be an NFL head coach either 2023 or 2024, and they brought him in as offensive coordinator. That is a smart move. I actually 100% disagree with you, One Pride 40. I think McDaniels is easily, hands down, the best hire. Easily the best hire. And the reason why is because him and the director of pro personnel worked together in New England. He learned a lot about failing in Denver. Bill Belichick failed his first time as head coach. Andy Reid got fired from Philly. You could go through NFL history and all the best not all, but a large amount of the head coaches were fired at one point. And this is I think the Raiders easily won. I think it's the best hire, and I think it's hands down the best hire because you get somebody with experience. You get a GM that he's worked with, and that's key because a lot of times you have a GM from one situation, and then you get a head coach from another, and then you're hoping that they work together in the past. And one thing that they're going to do is that it's not going to be the West Coast Patriots. It's not going to be the Patriots way. They're going to do something different. So I 100% disagree with you. McDaniels is easily the best hire, and I expect a lot of people to disagree. Do you want the actual answer as to why Leftwich didn't get the job, or you want the public reason? Give me what you think is the actual answer. I just think Doug Peterson was the best hire. I thought that if you had a chance to get Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, you got to take it. You got to take it. But what do you think, man? What do you think? I do think it's a good move that he's going back to Tampa Bay. It'll be kind of. I'm curious what Tampa Bay is going to do with the quarterback position. You got some interesting things. Remember, I think it's Kelly or Kellen. I really loved him last year at Florida. I thought he was the Heisman favorite, but you got him in the second round. He'll get a chance. He's got some weapons. Tampa Bay's still a really good team, even without Brady. So I said the same thing, man. I thought Leftwich got the job, but I thought Doug Peterson should have got the job. And that's a home run hire. That might be the best hire. I think McDaniels is easily number one. I think McDaniels is easily number one. I think Peterson might be number two. I think having experience. The trend is that you want to hire a first-time offensive mind. But one thing that if you watch Sean Payton when he was given his, I'm going to call it leaving speech, he says that when you're a first-time head coach, you make some mistakes. He made some mistakes, and that's true. Anytime you're new to something, you're going to make mistakes, no matter what field or industry it is. So I think having somebody with experience is smart. I think it's a big thing. Being an NFL head coach is not an easy job. Having somebody who knows what you're in store for is big. So that's why I like the McDaniels and the Peterson job, even though the two coaches that are in the Super Bowl are first-time head coaches, just young offensive minds, and that's the trend of the NFL right now. The Raiders, we will 100. I think it's a smart. I think it's a smart hire. Oh my God! After Mahomes checked down at the end of the first half, I don't think he looked the same. You're right. A lot of people blame Mahomes. I blame Andy Reid because you have a huge, physical, powerful offensive line. You have a Pro Bowl center. You have a Pro Bowl left tackle. You have a Pro Bowl right guard, and then your left guard is the one you gave $80 million to. And all these guys excel at run blocking. Your Pro Bowl left tackle, Orlando Brown, struggles against smaller, faster edge rushers, which Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson are. And both those guys gave Orlando Brown a ton of trouble. But when you run the ball, Trey Hendrickson's like 250, 260. Orlando Brown's 350. You know that play that 49ers run where they put Trent Williams in motion and they have him run down? I would have loved to see the Chiefs do that. I was hoping like do that. I wanted to see them channel Marty ball and they didn't do it, and they should have, but he didn't play well. And then in overtime, they had their first two plays go to Marcus Robinson, which made no sense to me. You got two future Hall of Famers on that team. Get one of them the ball. Get one of them the ball. Also, I mean, think about it. You have I know I'm all over the place here, but look at LSU's offense. You got Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CEH. Now, CEH has been injured, but when healthy, he's been exciting. The number 3 receiver, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He went to Carolina and early on was looking awesome. So, yeah, you're right, though. You're right. Nonsense. You still have a big window because of your quarterback. I hope so, man. There's a lot of starters that are going to leave via free agency, and I mean, look, Dan Fouts still played after 81. Kurt Warner still played after 2001. Warren Moon still, he wasn't in Houston very long after 1993, but I mean, I really think that there was a window, and the Chiefs have to get very creative with the draft and free agency. And I mean, it's tough. And I'm going to, like I said, over from between now and to the start of the 2022 season, I'm going to try to convince myself, and I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say you have the face of the NFL, maybe the best quarterback in the NFL in Mahomes. Of course, that's debatable. But yeah, I do think it's an end of an era. I really do. I don't think I know you can come back and everything, but the Chiefs are losing so much. Kelsey, I don't know if he's going to be 33 or 34 at the start of the season. His play is declined. I mean, look 2 years ago versus last year. I mean, still a top 5 tight end, but I mean, can you count on that again next year? Maybe not. I saw the clips of the speed challenge, and Tyreek Hill didn't really participate, but is Tyreek Hill going to be the fastest player in the NFL next year? I don't know. I mean, 8 or 9 years in the league, it wears on you. The Chiefs, I mean, the Honey Badger, even if he comes back, he's 30. He's not going to be cheap. Anyway, yeah, so. Willis has looked great. I heard the same thing. And between now and draft time, I don't think there's going to be a clear-cut number 1 quarterback. Most people are alleging that Pickett is going to be the guy, but I don't think so. And I heard Willis looked great. And let me ask you, Corey. I mean, are you on board with me that the Lions at 31 getting Willis is a good pick? I think it's a great pick. I'm really surprised you guys don't feel the same way. Oh yeah, I know. I don't think he's going to be available when the Chiefs pick. I don't think he's going to be available. But if he was drafted by the Chiefs, I would be doing cartwheels. It actually would not surprise me if the Chiefs traded up and got Williams. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's available past 20. The way the NFL is designed to be set up, there seems to be a rotation of teams at the top. And 3 years is the rough amount of time for a team to peak unless the upper management isn't. And the Chiefs do have really good front office personnel, but Eric Bieniemy is interviewing for the Saints job. Mike Kafka's left. Free agency is in contracts. It's just going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. They have to have a lot of guys step up. Willie Gay, second-year linebacker, and Bolton, the rookie middle linebacker, played lights out. One thing about Willie Gay, though, is they took him out in passing situations, which is kind of weird. But they'll probably let Hitchens go and have those two linebackers take over. But then you have to figure out a way, because the Spags defense is predicated on the front four, and you're going to lose two of those guys. And your other defensive tackle, actually, you're going to lose three. Jaron Reed was not a good free agent signing. We signed him to a 1-year, $8 million deal, and he had, I think, 1.5 or 2 sacks. Didn't even start most of the time. They have a sack in the playoffs, though. So I think Andy might have 1 or 2 years left before he hands it over to Bieniemy. I don't think that Bieniemy is I don't think that that's the Chiefs' plan. That's been popular here in Kansas City, that Chiefs are going to let Eric Bieniemy take over. But I think Andy's got 2 or 3. I'm thinking 3 would be the max, but that's it. And for those of you who don't know, Andy Reid's had health issues, and a lot of people don't know this. Bill Belichick's like a workout demon. Like he gets to like the facilities, works out at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and Andy Reid may get to the facilities at 5, but he's definitely not working out. So I mean, same different types of bodies there between Belichick and Andy Reid, but I mean, he's got like a knee, hip. Listen, when you're 62 and you're over 300 pounds, I mean, that puts a toll on you. Yes, you are one part. You're 100% correct. Your window's close to being open. I want to see what you do in free agency in the draft, but yeah, the window's definitely opening. On the Niners from the 80s, that people that didn't live it don't even realize how big it was for that team. Everybody knows about the catch, but don't realize the Niners had a 4th and goal stop right before it. Don't forget that the Cowboys got the ball back and had 50 seconds to go. The Cowboys went to 3 straight NFC championship games. Staubach retired. Danny White took over for him. Danny White was a really good quarterback. Not a Hall of Famer, not a great quarterback, but a really good quarterback. And that team was loaded, and they were driving. They were about at midfield, and I think White threw a pick. So, all right. Denver Gator, welcome. Hopefully you don't get mad, but Denver Gator is going back to Florida. He's going to Florida because he is being kicked out of Denver for his OnlyFans content. It's a 2 pornographic for. I'm teasing. Hopefully you don't mind that I revealed that. By the way, that's awesome that you're going back to Pensacola. Hopefully you're okay with that. But man, I'm glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you here. I want to know. I'm really behind on comments. Sorry about that. How excited are you with your coaching hires? By the way, Clint Kubiak as your quarterback's coach. Wow. I thought offensive coordinator, but getting him to just be your quarterback's coach, fantastic move. A+ move. Red Sea, you see how good Ritter has looked. Denver, I guess the Panther. Gator, yeah, the really good job by Denver Broncos. That's not a fact. That's not a fact. It is cap, in my opinion. That's the whole point of this show is to agree, disagree. And he's talking about McDaniels being the number one hire. I think it's easily the best. And when Pride's calling bullshit on it. And then that's great. I mean, that's the whole point of this show. I want to hear different opinions. I think McDaniels is easily the best hire. I don't think there's a debate, to be honest with you. And it's also really important that your head coach and general manager have to be on the same page, and these guys work together for the last, 7 years? But Malik Willis has a problem of lifting his foot up when he passes the ball. It's not all the time, but it's like it gives him more accuracy. You can see in the Senior Bowl film. I think it's an accuracy issue. Here's the thing. I want him to get to a team where he can sit for a year. And Willis is a guy that if you draft him and you want to play him as a rookie and you don't want him to be like kind of like the Niners did with Trey Lance, sort of, that's what you need to do. But if you want him to start anytime during the rookie year, then you're in a lot of trouble. And I think if he went to Detroit at 31, there would be no pressure on him to start. No pressure on him to start. He could come in, do like some wildcat stuff, try to get used to the speed of the NFL, and just sit for a year. And I think that would be brilliant. I think it'd be brilliant for both sides. So, Pride, which hire Hackett? Broncos country is going crazy for this guy. Love Fangio for the scheme. Not a great head coach, new guy. And you're getting Kubiak. I forget who it was that you had as your offensive coordinator, but I like that. You also hired the defensive coordinator, and I don't remember who it is off the top of my head, but really, really, really like what the Denver Broncos did as far as the coaching hires. And I do think there's a very strong possibility that that's going to lure Rodgers to Denver. And if that's the case, I would put, even though I don't bet on rookie head coaches or first-time head coaches, I think if Rodgers went to Denver, I think they're the favorite to win the AFC. Dan, the talent at the end of the first is greatest at wide receiver, safety, and outside linebacker. All three spots the Lions need to address. That's why I'm not big on the quarterback at the end of the first. Yeah, I get it, but you guys also have an early pick in the second round. Your pick in the second round could be a first round talent at either wide receiver, safety, or outside linebacker. That's why I want the quarterback pick. And plus you get that 5th-year option if he does end up being a stud. But like I said, I'm really surprised that you guys are this much against it. So pants off. This is awesome. Yeah, I do like the Hackett hire. Some sources saying Willis isn't looking to be taken at the top half of the first round, though the holder of the 20th overall pick, Pittsburgh, is said to be very high on Willis and are likely considering trading up for a top 5 pick on him. I would not be surprised if Pittsburgh tries to make a move to try to trade up. I don't do mock drafts until after the combine, but I will tell you this. I don't expect a quarterback to go in the spots number 5. The Giants pick 5 and 7, and that's where the quarterback, because I think a team could trade up to 5 because Carolina at 6 is definitely looking at a quarterback. Definitely looking. I'm not saying they're going to take a quarterback. Daniel Jeremiah has them taking Sauce Gardner, the quarterback out of Cincinnati. I completely disagree with that. And even though I love Daniel Jeremiah, I'm not saying I know more than Daniel Jeremiah, but I completely disagree with that pick. And the reason why is you don't trade for Gilmore and E.J. Henderson and use last year's first-round pick and then take another one. I mean, there's an old saying you can't have too many corners, but you really need 4 starting corners. I think at 6 there's other needs, and quarterback might be one of them. I'm just saying that. Oh, yes, he is. One Pride 40 says Campbell's on. Oh, absolutely, 100%. He is on the hot seat. At the start of the 2022 season, the number one coach on the hot seat is Dan Campbell. Here's why. Only one team interviewed him to be a head coach. That was the Detroit Lions. He won 3 games. He is 100% on the hot seat. 100%. 100% disagree with you. Now, you're in Detroit. You're a Lions fan. You know more than I do about the Lions. He is completely on the hot seat. He wins 3 games or 4 games again in 2022. He's gone. He's fired. Don't think that like you're going to be the same as the Bengals and let them win 6 games in 2 years. You're not. There's pressure. He wins 3 games. He is gone. And your team is right now today the least talented team in the NFL. So yes, he is 100% on the hot seat. I disagree. So. I would not accept a single first round pick for Watson, even though it's 5th overall. Yeah, I want to hear your opinion. I think you need to have more, but if I'm the Houston Texans, I would not mind having both the 3rd and the 5th pick with your quarterback in tow. I'm just saying. Jimmy, welcome, brother, man. Tune in. I haven't gone. Here's the deal. I'm going to go over prop bets on next week's show. I already put action on the Super Bowl. I'm going to reveal my pick next week. But man, great to see you, brother. Great to see you. I don't know if Titans. Oh God, was it Titans sports fan? Anyway, he bet on the Bengals money line. Hopefully you did too. He took Bengals money line last week, and was it Titans fan? I forgot. Yeah. Raiders had the worst. Me and one Pride 40 on opposite ends of the fence today. Can't compare the guy. Here's the deal. They're not going to run the Patriots. They're not going to do the same thing that they did in Denver. They're not going to do the same thing. And that's why it's the best, is because they realize that it's not the same thing and they're going to do something different. That's why I like it so much. Patricia worked at Bod Quinn. Both came from exactly. And that's, I get that, but they're not going to run the Patriots way. They're not going to do the same thing. The difference is that Quinn and Patricia were trying to recreate the Patriots in Detroit. They're not going to do that in Vegas, and they learn from their mistakes. So yeah, Trask is awful. Well, he's a rookie, man. He's a rookie. You guys talk about I have not. Pretty wild about it. Okay. Let me read some comments because I want to dive into detail about Brian Flores and his allegations, and I want to talk about this. I am really behind on comments. Jimmy, I'm really behind on comments. I'm going to try zip. I do want to talk about this in detail. So let me read through some more comments. I want to talk about this in great detail. I'm considering taking a head coaching job in Jacksonville. Dan's going to be my DC, running an updated Tampa 2, trying to find my. I'm super stoked because anyway, I'm gonna stop right there, but I'm super stoked. And I'm assuming going back to Pensacola is a good thing. I'm assuming it's a good thing. I've heard some good things about Denver. I've heard some great things about Denver, but yeah. Hugh Jackson said, I want to talk about this in detail. So, yeah, I want to talk about both these guys. Before I got to say, breaking right now, per league source, 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniels, not head coach. Wow. I did not see this coming at all. Wow. Wow. Now I get to Houston. Whoa. This is wow. Good Lord, Dan. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I know I has nothing to do with my energy drinks. Yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Houston has four finalists for the head coaching job. Kevin O'Connell, Flores, Gannon, McCown's being said Houston's already come to the decision. I believe O'Connell has been finalized for the Minnesota job. Correct me. I hope it is, man. I thought it was better. Boyd, KOC, yeah. Terrence Marshall, yes, he was the number 3 wide receiver, and he looks like he could be a number 1 in the NFL. So good. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'd love to know from Houston fans. So, hey, Red Sea, this is what the off season is all about. In this chat, we give Dan an NFL bone and just let him go. We've been known to timestamp how far he gets with everything. I'm glad you guys like this. I kind of went on some rants, so being behind sounds like. To what I know, a Twitter journalist close to the Houston organization is claiming Houston fans will not like what the decision is, hitting towards McCown getting a job, McCown being unlike. I'm kind of surprised about that because I think that you should love the McCown hire, but yeah. If McDaniel bombs in a couple of years, I will 100% give you credit. I think this is a brilliant move by the Raiders, though. Brilliant. Red Sea, scared money don't make money. Napier for Napier's the head coach for the University of Florida. Gannon is also unlike, no idea really why, and could also be the hire. So with the hire supposedly being done and the fans won't like it, seems to be Gannon or McCown. That's interesting. Willis will go to the Steelers. I actually could see this. I could see this happening, and that's kind of why I think that you guys would be more on board with him at 30 or 31 or 32. 31, 32. I'm sorry. That's why I'm surprised because I'm seeing Willis to the Steelers quite a bit. So why wouldn't you want him at 31 or 32? I don't get it. And you get what? You get you still get a high second round pick. I've always said this, picks 33 through 39 are like the gold picks because you get a possible first round talent and then you're paying a fraction of the price. So I want Wink or Fangio's the Eagles' new DC. Both those guys would be great. I was floored when Wink got fired. They replaced him with the Michigan Wolverines defensive coordinator, which when he went back to Baltimore, led me to believe that Harbaugh was going to take either the Vikings or the Dolphins job. And the simple fact that the Dolphins hired the offensive coordinator from San Francisco, I didn't even know he was in the running. That floors me. That floors me. I didn't even know he was a candidate, to be perfectly honest. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I didn't know he was a candidate for the job. First, I want to me and you need to talk before the draft, but Treylon Burks, for those of you who don't know, Treylon Burks coming out of Arkansas looks like an absolute beast. I don't want to they're not they may actually be the same type of prospects. I don't think he's as fast, but Treylon Burks reminds me quite a bit of Andre Johnson coming out of Miami. I don't think he's that fast, but the size, speed, just Burks is a monster. Wilson, Jameson Williams, Drake London. I thought you were higher on London. Jahan Dotson, Chris Olave. Surprised you got Dotson over Olave. Surprised. I'm not arguing. I'm just surprised. I'm not sure Brad Holmes had any interest in quarterbacks in this draft. We'll have to wait and see. But the simple fact that they're coaching in the Senior Bowl. So anyway, Flores is still in the running and has a lot of connections to the Texans, loved by players and coaches, but the lawsuit seems, and I'm so far behind, but I want to talk about Flores quite a bit. I want to go into detail about that. This is also part of the reason why I think the Chiefs' era is coming to an end. Losing Kafka is big, but if you lose Kafka and Bieniemy, that's really, 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 really big. I'm sorry, Red Sea. I'm going to get caught up, and then I want to talk about Flores. I'm not putting much stock into it, but Luke's predicting corner with our second first. I would be surprised if you did that. Now, I know he's been on board with Okudah switching to safety. I don't think that's the move. I think Okudah will come back and he'll be one of your starting corners. I can't think of the guy's name, but your other fourth round pick played a lot at corner and played well. And And didn't you guys have somebody else who came out of almost nowhere, looked pretty good? I would be shocked about that. However, it's a good draft for corners. But I would be shocked if you guys went corner. I'm actually shocked that you guys don't like Willis at 31 or 32. I'm shocked that you guys hate that. Now I have to wait for 10. Sorry. I watch a Lions guy that would say don't only exercise Andy Gray. You're not off, man. You're not off. But no, about okay. Yeah, okay. He's definitely on the hot seat. He's definitely on the hot seat. You can't win. You can't be a first-time head coach, win 3 games, and not be on the hot seat. You fired your offensive coordinator. You blamed him. You put the blame on him. The NFL, I mean, your defensive coordinator got head coaching offers or interviews. So there's a lot of respect for Aaron Glenn. You fired your offensive coordinator. Yeah, Campbell's 100% on the hot seat. But hey, listen, you're in Detroit, so. You said I'm moving to Florida. I was thinking, when did I tell Dan I'm moving back to the Panhandle at the end of March? Gamma hit me. I wasn't sure if you were okay with me telling everybody. Yeah. I saw it on your OnlyFans. So you have to pay. By the way, you have to subscribe. It's $39.99 a month. Dable's the best hire. The reason why I'm not saying it's the best hire is because he's first-time head coach. And yes, I know the trend in the NFL is to hire first-time head coach, and both the Bengals and the Rams hired first-time head coaches, and it's worked out, and that's the trend. There was a time when you wanted to hire an experienced defensive coordinator, and trends in the NFL change. It wouldn't surprise me 10 years from now, everybody wants to hire an experienced head coach. I still think that hiring an experienced head coach is the way to go. Being an NFL head coach is very, very difficult. Now, he's worked with a lot of organizations. He has a lot of experience. But he also is in the same. Who was the head coach? I'm drawing a blank here. I'm drawing a complete blank now. But guy that the guy who was hired before after I'm drawing a complete blank. He was with the Browns. Nick Saban vouched for him, just like he vouched for Dable, and it was just a complete disaster. And I'm drawing a complete blank. So sorry, but I'm drawing a complete blank. What that is. I trust Stroud over Malik Willis. That's interesting. One thing I'm hearing about Willis is that the upside's massive, and I keep hearing this over and over and over again. Is that Willis is the only quarterback out of this draft that 5 years from now could be a Pro Bowler. And I keep hearing it over and over again. I don't agree with it, but I keep hearing it. And the upside's massive. The upside's massive with Willis. The one thing I will say, but I'm really surprised that you guys just hate it. I'm surprised. Former offensive coordinator at Texan, Tim Kelly, signed with the Titans to be part of their offensive staff. Yeah, I saw that, and that could be a good move. I saw a lot on social media about Rodgers going to Tennessee, and I don't get that at all. I have no idea where that came from. It would be a good move for the Lions, but I can't see the Steelers letting Willis pass them if the rumors are true. I also see Washington taking Carroll. I think the Vikings shock analysts and take a quarterback. I've been hearing a lot about that too, and I would be shocked. Just I loved Kellen Mond coming out of A&M. I think sitting for a year, if they run the same type of offense that they ran last year, Kellen Mond could run that offense. At least I had a huge man crush on him, and I thought that there's a good chance that he could be a starting NFL quarterback and I thought he could be a starter for the Vikings. It wouldn't surprise me if they move on from Cousins. Now Zappe, and you could probably get Zappe in the second or third round, and I get why you like him, but I mean, me and you have to agree on this. Willis has more upside. Zappe, I heard, does not look bad. I haven't watched him play. I haven't watched him play. I can't tell you too much about him. You know what? I will say this: if I was going to do a mock draft today, I would put Pickett at number 6 going to Carolina. That would be my pick if I was doing a mock today. I'm not doing a mock today. I'm not saying that's going to be the pick, but if I was going to do one, that would be the pick. The 3 position I mentioned are 3 positions. I want the 3 picks. Remember, Holmes came from LA, and when he was there, he was in on giving up the farm for a QB. Plus, Dorsey gave picks to picks to move up. There are better quarterbacks available on the line, so I have 4 first-round picks. They can use trade capital just wait till next year makes sense. Okay, all you're gonna stop. Okay, I really think Detroit sticks with him. He is their guy sticking. Okay, all right. He's talking about Campbell, and the answer is no. The trend in the NFL is to going after young offensive coordinators. I just mentioned a few. Mike Kafka is a guy John Dorsey's familiar with. That would be a guy that it would not surprise me in 2023 becomes head coach of the Detroit Lions. You could look at Eric Bieniemy. Of course, he has ties to John Dorsey as well. Off of the I can't believe I'm drawing some blanks here. I'm really embarrassed about this. I can't believe it. The Sean McVay tree. Jesus Christ, how did I forget McVay? Brad Holmes has lots of connections with the Sean McVay tree. I mean, you see multiple people from the Sean McVay tree. I couldn't even think about all the assistants that Holmes would have access to. You win 6 games in 2 years, you're going to get fired. I'm telling you that right now. And you're going to say, what about Cincinnati? Mike Brown is an anomaly. And how he runs his organization is very similar to how the Steelers run their organization. NFL teams don't give you 3 years when your first 2 years you win 6 games. If Campbell's 3-14, he's gone. Plain and simple. I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, I understand you guys like the guy. I get it. But if you don't think he's on the hot seat, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the delusion is strong. If you think Campbell goes 3-14 and gets year 3, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't get it. Okay, yeah, I do need to. Okay, you see the $20 parlay bet predicting both scored champions? No, I did not, but I do have action on the Super Bowl. Lions schedule next year. Campbell can't afford to win only. Yeah. I think to keep his job, the bare minimum would be 5 or 6. I'm going to say 6. I want to say 6 or 7, but I think 6. So. Now, first of all, he had interviews with the Colts before Reich took job. I don't see Campbell winning. He did interview with the Colts. I don't remember that at all. But anyway, where do I find that bet? You're reaching in my. Are you talking about Willis or Campbell or okay with the Campbell stuff? No. He if he wins 3 games, he's gone. That's pretty much a fact. Not sure I'm a fan of. I don't know where I saw that either. Okay. Kenny Pickett refused that. Not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying if the Lions go 3-14, he's gone. All right. That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing a few sources saying Flores was offered the head coaching and he declined. This is only a rumor, but I've seen 3 sources saying so. Like Burks. Yeah, he's not a 4-3 guy. I don't know what I don't know what Andre Johnson ran coming out of Miami, but I mean he was legitimately 6'3", 230. I heard he was a 4. I heard he ran some 4.3 flats. I mean Andre Johnson's massive, but that Burks is a guy who will probably go top 10. So Now I don't like throwing games, but if I need touch base on this. All right. Houston is either going edge or safety. If they stay at 3, don't know which one, but it will not be. I agree 100% here, Alex. Agree. Well, Melifanu was a great pick in the 4th round, and he looks really good. He looks like he's going to be a very good NFL corner. So, like, your starters next year are going to be Melifanu and Okuda. I'm sorry. That's not bad. That's not bad. You got Okuda has to come back at 100%. He's got to work. I don't believe that you're going to put him at safety, but if you do put him at safety, then corner could be in play, and at a corner could be in play maybe at 2. I would be shocked. I would be floored if they pick a corner at 2. Wouldn't be floored if Hamilton tests out like you guys think he's going to. If he's 6'4", 220, runs a 4.44. If those are his measurements, it wouldn't surprise me. Lions take him at 2. Wouldn't surprise me. Red Sea, I saw he could be third wide receiver. He's going to be. I normally wouldn't say that. He's a guy I'm really excited about at the watch as a rookie, no matter what team he goes to. I personally wouldn't mind drafting a quarterback in late 1st or early 2nd, even if they don't end up with being a long-term solution. We need a better backup than Boyle. I was kind of surprised you didn't get a more veteran backup. I was really surprised. Boyle has upside, but that's not what you want. It's probably better to take a quarterback than need a first in the wideout. Yeah, I exactly, man. At the end of the 1st rounds when you want to get your quarterback. Lamar Jackson was pick number 32. Just saying. I 5 or 6 wins. I was gonna say 6 or 7, but I think 5 might. I think 6. I think 6 or 7 probably, but maybe 5. But no way in hell if he goes 3-14 he's there. Hutchinson, Ritter, Pickens would be a phenomenal. It would be. I'm drawing a blank on Pickens. The name sounds familiar, but right now today I got Hutchinson going to the Lions. So 6 or more wins. Anything less lead to questions most likely, but they have golf as their escape. That is true, but I think that 6. If you win 6, and I wouldn't be surprised if you win 6, then I could see Campbell coming back 6 or 7. But if you win 3, he's 100% gone. I do too. One pride, I do too. Okay. I'm not a big Hutchinson fan. Honestly, I would rather take the Marvin Leal over Hutch. Daniel Jeremiah has him like the 40th ranked prospect, which early on I thought he was going to be like top 10, but now his stock's just dropping. I'm not really sure why. I want the Broncos to grab the absolute massive beast man, right tackle, the tackle from Minnesota. For those of you who don't know, I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. I'd recognize I saw it. The guy's like 6'9", 380. I think he's going to play inside in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be a tackle. I think he's going to end up being a guard somewhere. That's the only spot on the offensive line that you need any help with. Dustin, man, what is up, brother? I don't do any mock drafts, but I could see your Panthers taking a quarterback. Bailey's app at the end of the 3rd term. That would be really, really, really good. That would, where would you first for we were with you for Sewell, but Willis. Get rid of Matt. That's not going to happen. You don't sign a guy to a 7-year, $60 million deal and get rid of him after 2. So he's going to be here for you. You got him for 1 more year, at least 1 more year. Dude already said he wants a Michigan job. If I'm Rule, I would love to have a Michigan job. If I'm Matt Rule, I would love to have a Michigan job. But Harbaugh's staying. Until Harbaugh takes another NFL job, there's always going to be Harbaugh talk of coming back to the NFL. So I think I'm almost caught up. Yeah, I know it's been a while, man. Me and Funk are again. I know. I'm fully aware. I'm fully aware. So, um, I don't. This is what cost. This is what cost Fangio his job. The rumors all about Flores are false, and he did take the job. I'd be the happiest guy in the world. Cassio kept his mouth shut about the thing right now. I wouldn't pass him leak false info. Dustin, Jim ain't leaving. Will at least this season. I like Zach. I know you. There's right now today. Willis is over Zap, but I get why you like Zap or Willis. So. I saw Zap play in person when he played UNT Eagles last year. Dude's a real deal. I have not watched him play yet. Man, I love Dustin coming back. I don't hate Hutch. I just don't think he fits the scheme, and I'm picking at the guy better. I get it. I'm not. This is okay. Here's the thing, and maybe it's because he's a white dude. Maybe it's because he played Big Ten football. Maybe it's because he wore 97. Reminds me a lot of the Bosa brothers. Joey Bosa, I said the same exact thing. So he went to the Chargers at 4. I'm like, he's a 4-3 defensive end. What are you doing at 5 tech? There was some issues with his contract, and he was injured. And I'm like, this is a bust. This is a disaster. Played 12 games, had 12 sacks. Dominant defensive player as a 5 technique. And the way the Chargers used him is that used him inside when on obvious run situations, and he excelled with quickness and hand technique and work ethic. And then in base nickel packages, they put him at defensive end. It was just dominant. And I see the same thing. Edge rush is a massive priority. But I get what you're saying. And also I get it too. Like I said, I don't think Hamilton's. I really don't think he's going to be 220 and run under a 4.45. So if he is, I have no problem saying he's wrong. My daughter's tutor. That is awesome. I hopefully not me. Harbaugh in Michigan is a joke. Legit great. Sorry, just farted. Head coach, leader of men, but to be doing an interview with the Vikings, acting like the job was already his on signing day. Clown, Michigan, you deserve him. Wow. I really want to touch base on Flores. I really think Campbell has a few-year grace period given the lack of talent. He's got to win more than 3 games, man. He's got to win more than 3 games next year. I want my partners to hire Mike Leach and have Graham Harrell. Oh God, that would be a lot of fun. I would love to see an NFL coach. I would love to see an NFL team do this. I would love it. I would love this. I would love it. That would be so much fun, man. That would be so much fun. I would. I'm not saying I'd become a Panthers fan, but it would be must-see football. If Leach and Harrell if this happened, it's must-see football. It's must-see football. With draft picks and more cap space in the season, though, especially next season, we won't have an excuse anymore. Dan just trying to catch some comments to get the Flores topic. Okay. All right. Hold on. What's up, Dustin? You guys need our entire draft was a bust. Derek Brown's a bust. Our best pick, honestly, was Bravey and Roy. That was a great pick. And I stick with it. Brown is bitching. Rules favors him over him. I would too. Dude stops running. This was a great pick. I'm dying to know what you think because I didn't get a chance to watch too much of him. I think he was injured a little bit, but shit. Another name freeze. Your first round pick, the corner out of J.C. Horn. Okay, so you took J.C. Horn over. Another name freeze. Okay, you took J.C. Horn over who the Denver Broncos picked at 9. I can't believe I'm drawing a complete blank. His dad played in Kansas City as a corner. Went to Alabama. Looks like he's going to be a Pro Bowler. I can't believe I'm forgetting names this bad. I always forget names, but today's been exceptionally bad. Anyway, let me just ask you this. How happy are you with the J.C. Horn pick? Because the guy the Denver Broncos took looks like a future Pro Bowler. So, still upset we didn't take Mac Jones. Yeah, you did call this. No, that's the whole thing is that I think the Lions. I've been saying this since I have a hard time. I don't see the Lions being a 3-4-5 win team. That's why I think he's on the hot seat. If you win 3 to 5 games, you're going to be gone because I don't think you're going to win. I think you're going to win more than 5. I think you have to win more than 5. And you're going to have an influx of talent plus 2 first-round draft picks. Well, maybe for 2 because Dorsey gets creative in the draft. So if I were a good team, I'd trade a 4th for Roy. Yeah, I really like his game. Red Sea, I'm calling it now. New Gator signing. Piedmore is my guy. New man crush. Don't tell Napier. Not sure he'd understand Piedmore. I have no idea who this is, but keep me informed on him. I like Pickens is a Georgia wide receiver. Kid's pretty nice. I remember him now. Yes. Hey, revisiting. I love you, Funk, but Max is. You did say this. You did say this. Best quarterbacks in draft are Desmond Ridder, Brady Zapp. I don't care where they are. No corner with the Rams pick. I would be shocked if they went corner. I would be shocked. The Marvin Lillard got busted with some wheel today after he. Oh, okay. Okay. That's what happened. Yeah, because this stock, I had no idea, but they were talking about him top 10. Now we're talking about second round. Like, what the hell? All right, so that's fine. Okay. I like Willis strong. Be curious to see Zapp goes. Trask taking Bucks to the playoffs. Bet it. Okay. I don't think Trask is going to be the starting quarterback next year. I don't think so. One part my dad was a semi-pro baseball pitcher. Just people arm releasing technique comes from Tom House throwing style. When I've told you Mac goes to New England, he would succeed anywhere else. He'll struggle, and I stand by it. Trust me, I'm glad you know this. I'm glad you know this. There's no exactly that's why if he wins 3, he'll be gone. So that is that a good thing or a bad thing? Dak Prescott's not a bad quarterback. I really like Ridder. I really think Ridder will win. All right, if he was Carolina, it would be a 10-win team. All right. Someone said Houston should take Willis at 3, and who the hell said that? I would be if Houston takes Willis at 3, I would be beyond pissed. Mills is good enough till next year's class, but Willis is good, but not Watson. Exactly. At 3, I think Mills deserves a chance to be a starter. I loved watching him play. I was floored by his arm talent and strength. They're 2 different things. Dustin takes on strong kind of reminds me of Matt Ryan early. Is that a good comp? If not, who's a strong comp to? Zap towards my Sparties. Everyone says like Bosa because he doesn't. It's because he's white. Now the Ohio State games you watch both are crossing their feet. Okay, I didn't go back and watch. He does remind me of the Bosa brothers, and I don't know if it's because he's tall, white, wears 97, plays for a Big Ten team, but that's who he reminds me of. And if he plays like either one of them, it'd be a great fit. It'd be a great fit. Is it because he wears 97 and he's white? It could be. That's who he reminded me of the first time I watched him, because it was actually one Pride 40 brought him up, and I was like, okay, when I watch Michigan, I'll watch him. And I was like, man, he reminds me of Joey Bosa. I was thinking Joey Bosa more than Nick Bosa, but it could be. I didn't know about the OTs crossing their feet though. If Mac were in Carolina, we'd be a 10-win team. We'd be trying to revive CMC and needed the best dual threat. I'd go Ridder. I'm really high on Ridder, and I think as the draft process goes on and on and on, Ridder's stock will just skyrocket up. And the reason why is I don't know this for a fact, but I think NFL teams are going to love this guy on the whiteboard. I think that he's going to dissect and analyze defensive schemes and offensive play patterns as well as anybody, if not better than everybody. I just think that Ritter's stock's going to continue to climb. And I think when everything's said and done is that I think he'll end up being a top 20 pick. Doesn't Pittsburgh pick a 20? Just saying. 100% of Mills didn't go for the draft last year. Yeah, exactly. Kingsbury. He is. Leach, for those of you who don't know, Kingsbury was coached by Leach at Texas Tech. Also, the kid from Minnesota. I can't think of his name. He's like Falal or is it something. I would recognize the name, but he's 6'9", 380. I think he plays guard in the NFL, even though he's been playing tackle at all the. I can't remember which All-Star game he's part of, but so is Nick Mata, Moyd, Mate, Alex, and sadly. JC Horn over Mac Jones. I can't lose sleep. I can't lose sleep over that. We took him. Surtain, that's the name. Are you happy with Horn over Surtain? From what I've seen, Surtain looks like he's the better player. And I thought that too. So Kingsbury is go ahead, Gator. He's very and you should be happy. Michigan State's definitely on the rise. Horn looked like Darrelle Revis to me. He'll be a good corner. There's a series of unfortunate events. We won all our games he played, and he shut down. Okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The Mills comment. Mills reminds me of Tony Pike from Cincinnati. Wow. Mills just needs development. He's not a quarterback, not a top 10 guy, but can ball out. I think he could be a top 10 guy. The way that he was throwing the ball when I watched him play was just amazing. I can't think of a comp. The closest thing I think of Bledsoe just off the top of my head. And the reason why I'm not talking just the arm, I'm talking like his demeanor. He's a quiet dude. He's not a rah guy. He's not a vocal guy. And I just get the impression he's just one of those like quiet type dudes. Now, it's not necessarily bad. Kyler Murray's kind of a quiet dude. He's been a little more vocal. But the arm is elite. The arm is elite. So Fields had a worse QBR than Jimmy Clausen. Oh wow, we got Jimmy Clausen reference here. And Eberflus said that he's going to build that team around Fields, which I that's going to be tough, man. I don't know who they hired as their offensive coordinator at the Bears. Dustin, so you're calling me busting. No, Funk's right about Fields being a bust. Good dependent scheme on radar. I'd take Fields 100 times out of 100 times. Okay. All right. Maybe we were right. We're talking about giving you seizures. Give you street credit for that one. I'm busting you for Lance. So, all right. I said the same thing about the Bosa brothers, and Joey Bosa excelled in the 3-4 scheme that the Chargers ran, but it was a very creative scheme. So that I agree, and that's why the only reason I think that Detroit would use him is because of the success Joey Bosa had in the 3-4 scheme the Chargers used. Then when they went to a 4-3 scheme, he played better. This year he went back to a 3-4 and he played lights out. So you got to be creative, and hopefully Aaron Glenn can do that. Daughter's favorite team is the Lions. That's awesome. Can't bust me for Lance. The kid sat all year. Jimmy stayed healthy. Jimmy wins over 70%. Well, we're going to find out what Lance does in 2022. Danny literally said the dude regressed as the year went on. We'll see, because he's going to be the starter, and we'll see how he does. Should be. He actually looked better than I thought he would, believe it or not. So I think he said that as a cop-out because he wanted Jones, and his GM Peters wanted Lance. Lynch and Peters wanted Lance. Shaney wanted Jones. Really? Like, I think I remember him. All right. Regardless, if yeah, exactly. Lance was always a kid that I said need to sit a year. Exactly. Okay. Don't believe it for a minute. Nagy got fired for taking Fields over Jones. He can't come public, but I don't think that was really his call. And I think if it was up to Nagy, I think Nagy would have taken Jones over Fields because Nagy was trying to run that very complex Chiefs offense. But Matt Rule said Eli Apple would never play another NFL game. He's starting in the Super Bowl. Rule said Perryman was done and is a Pro Bowler fire. I thought it was just because Nagy is a good offensive mind, but I thought Fields was not the right guy, but it'll be interesting to see what Eberflus does with him. Shaney's right. Sitting a year won't help Lance and not being able to see a field and read and cover too. I agree with this. I thought this was a disaster in the simple fact that they were able to get to an NFC Championship game by giving up all those picks for a guy and the way Jimmy G performed is just really unbelievable. We'll have to see what Trey Lance does. Let's see what he does. I still think the smart move is to sit a quarterback for a year, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I know. Okay. You did get a good player. Let me just say who I thought Apple would be a starter in the Super Bowl. And Amara, I loved our draft. Your draft class was exceptional. I thought you had a great draft. And Ozarike, who I'm hearing is a lot of people are calling him a bust. Give him some time. But yeah, you fantastic draft. Red, that happens. We either slow down or get in the chats with each other. It's usually around an hour and a half. Lance needs 3 years to be ready. By then, Mac will be in the Super Bowl. I said it. Trust Dan Campbell. All right. I'm going to talk about Brian Flores. Some of you are going to probably disagree with what I have to say. Maybe it's something I shouldn't say on this show. But I'm going to give my 2 cents. Out of all of the former players and head coaches, everybody to come out of the NFL, the person that did most for society, the human rights movement, is a player by the name of Alan Page. Alan Page is a Hall of Famer. He's one of 2 defensive players to be NFL MVP. Lawrence Taylor's the other one. Alan Page, member of the Purple People Eaters. The Vikings win 1 Super Bowl. People may be calling Alan Page the greatest defensive tackle ever. Alan Page thought it was silly to sign autographs because why does somebody want an autograph? Because I can play a game well. What he did is when he played, I think he played 19 years in the NFL. I might be wrong on that. I'm not using Google. I didn't look any of this up. I'm kind of going on memory and just my knowledge of football. But what he did is that when during the offseason, he went to law school. I may be getting the job title wrong, but he became the very first Black Supreme Court justice for the state of Minnesota. And apparently in his chambers, there's not one piece of football memorabilia you would never known, except for, his size and his name, that he played in the NFL. Because he puts that behind him. He used his opportunity to play in the NFL to go to law school, and he's done quite a bit for society and equal rights. And Jim Brown, when he retired, it was a money issue. But he also wanted to make movies, and him and Muhammad Ali did a lot for the civil rights movement. Okay. Look, I've said this many times. I've heard the number on social media being 70%. I've used 85%. And The NFL needs more black head coaches. All right. I mean, look, whether it's 70, I saw somebody say the NFL is 70%, the 70% of the NFL players are black. I've heard 85. I've used 85 on the show many times. It's higher than 2/3. It's probably less than 90%, somewhere in there. So having at this moment in time, I mean, how many black head coaches are there? I mean, can't believe I forgot the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, Mike Tomlin. So, look, there's an issue. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, come on. Here's the thing. How to handle this issue and what Flores is doing is not helping. All right. This generation's part of if you see something, say something. Part of if you don't get your way, you throw a temper tantrum. Alan Page wanted to make a change, and he went to law school, became a judge, made history. If Alan Page was a player in today's game, I think he would have taken the same course of action. I think that what Brian Flores is doing is he's throwing a hissy fit. He didn't get the job with the Giants. He got passed over for Brian Daboll. I think it was the choice was either Brian Daboll or Brian. I think it was either Brian Daboll or Brian Flores. Now the trend in the NFL is to hire a first-time head coach who's an offensive coordinator. And the reason why is that that's the way the NFL is going. Later on, it wouldn't surprise me 10 years from now, the trend is to hire an experienced defensive mind. But today it's hiring a first-time head coach who's an offensive coordinator. The reason why is that your two Super Bowl head coaches are first-time offensive coordinators. So what does the NFL do? It's a copycat league. So you want to hire a first-time offensive coordinator, and that's what the Giants did. The Giants said, okay, well, look, we have a really good defense. We have Daniel Jones, the guy we used the 6th overall pick on as our quarterback. We have the 5th and the 7th pick in the draft, so we can draft a quarterback. I think Deshaun Watson's still in play for the Giants. You have the draft capital. I think Watson would love to go to New York. And I also think that Brian Daboll, look what he did with Josh Allen. Josh Allen was a below average starter. Now he's an elite quarterback. Some Chiefs fans will tell you that he had, his time here as offensive coordinator. Look, I mean, if you don't improve in 10 years, what are you doing? So any Chiefs fan that wants to talk about Daboll being bad because he had a bad experience in Kansas City with a bad team and had some issues, with the Scott Pioli. It was a disaster when he was here in Kansas City. Scott Pioli and Todd Haley was one of the reasons I think the Raiders did a great job is because the head coach and general manager are on the same page. Scott Pioli and Todd Haley were never on the same page. Scott Pioli was brought in. They were going to bring in the Patriots way. Todd Haley, offensive genius, came from the Arizona Cardinals. These two didn't work together. These two did not work well at all. Brian Flores throwing a hissy fit temper tantrum and making crazy allegations is the way is how to put I'm going to say civil rights back a step. It's hurting the cause. It's not helping. This when I saw this, I'm thinking of a child getting his binky. I'm thinking of a baby having his binky pulled away. I'm thinking of somebody having a hissy fit. I'm thinking like Colin Kaepernick. Well, I'm not good enough to be an NFL starter, so I'm going to take a knee and get a bunch of attention to myself. So the 49ers don't cut me because I signed this shitty contract that the 49ers, if they cut me, I don't get paid. So I'm going to take a knee and do a publicity stunt. And some people consider Kaepernick an activist and a hero. I will never, ever believe that. I know for a fact that what he did was a publicity stunt so that he would get his paycheck from the 49ers. I mean, he got paid over $1 million a week. Anyway, okay. Brian Flores accusations after he didn't get the Giants job is childish, even if it's true. Then you get the coaches at Grambling State, Hugh Jackson, jumping in. So let me get this straight. You waited 4 or 5 years, and Jimmy Haslam's correct. He never accepted responsibility for his action. Watch Hard Knocks, where he told Todd Haley and the guy that took over as head coach for him when he was fired. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. Greg Williams. Do you remember the Hard Knocks where he told Todd Haley and Greg Williams, hey, when you guys don't know what it's like to be a head coach? Both of them have more head coaching experience than Hugh Jackson. But Hugh Jackson sat in a room with them. It's on Hard Knocks where he told them, hey, you guys don't know what it's like to be in this chair. And both of them have more head coaching experience than Hugh Jackson. Both of them. But he told him that. Hugh Jackson watched Hard Knocks, watched everything that happened when he was at the Browns. Jimmy Haslam's correct. He never accepted responsibility. Never accepted responsibility. It's great that he went to Grambling. It's fantastic that he went to Grambling. That SWAC conference is must-see football now. That's fantastic. To jump on board and to make these idiot allegations years later leads me to believe that it's not true. Especially when Haslam's right that he never accepted responsibility. Flores not getting a job. Now, I was shocked when he got fired. I was shocked when he got fired. Did he deserve to get fired? The answer is yes. I mean, he burned through assistant coaches. He had problems with players. He had problems with front office personnel. And the trend that the NFL is following is going after first-time head coaches that are offensive minds, offensive coordinators. If I remember right, Zach Taylor wasn't even a coordinator. I think he's a quarterback's coach. Andy Reid was a quarterback's coach. He was never an offensive coordinator. Brian Flores is not doing anything to help society or black head coaches or social rights or activism or the problem the NFL has with not enough black head coaches. He's not helping. He's hurting. Throwing a childish hissy fit because you didn't get the Giants job by going public and blowing up and doing all this bullshit doesn't help. When Josh McDaniels got fired from the Denver Broncos, he put his tail between his legs, put his head down, went back to New England. What he should have done is, after he didn't get the Giants job, he should have said, okay, I'm going to be the best possible defensive coordinator, get another head coaching job, and then when his career is over in coaching, if he wants to come forward and say all this stuff, there was a different and better way to do things. I don't have the answer to what the best thing is to do. But the wrong thing to do is, when you don't get your way and you don't get the Giants job, to play the race card, to throw a hissy fit, to throw a temper tantrum, to be a child. It doesn't help anything. It just makes you look bad. I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible. I don't want to lump all young people into a category, and I don't want to lump older people into a category, but the generation is, if you see something, say something. If you don't get your way, you throw a temper tantrum. If you didn't get a job, it was some form of discrimination. That's kind of the way society is now, is that if something doesn't go your way, you have to throw a fit over it, Anyway, do I think Stephen Ross or Jimmy Haslam incentivized? I got the word wrong. Losing? No, I don't. I don't believe that at all. Remember Tank for Tua? Remember the talk Tank for Tua? Would they have been better off with Herbert? Let me ask you a crazy question. Is Justin Herbert better than Joe Burrow? I think it's legitimate. Mac Jones. We were talking about Mac Jones. I mean, he was 15th pick in the draft. Mahomes was 10th. Aaron Rodgers 23rd. Tom Brady's 199. This isn't the NBA. If you have the first pick in the draft, especially this year, let's say you have the first pick in the draft this year, is it really better than having the 5th or 6th pick? Is it really? I'm seeing Evan Neal, the tackle out of Alabama, went number 1, but Daniel Jeremiah in his list has the tackle, and I recognize the name, but I don't know it off the top of my head. The tackle at NC State as a higher prospect than Evan Neal, the left tackle out of Alabama. He has the tackle out of North Carolina State, I'm sorry, as a higher ranked prospect, but he has Neal going number 1. In the NBA, it makes sense to have a tank for the number 1 pick in the draft when you got like a little LeBron James. I don't follow basketball anymore, so I don't know who the number 1 pick in the draft would be. But in the NBA, it made sense. In the NFL, it doesn't. All right. In 2012, Nick Wright was a radio talk show host on sports radio here in Kansas City. Now he's exploded. Very, 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 very talented guy. And you knew it in Kansas City, like he was going to move on to bigger and better things. Jason Whitlock also started here in Kansas City. He was a writer for the Kansas City Star. Some really talented writers in sports. Sorry. It's not cocaine. Excuse me. Nick Wright had for the 2012 season, he told the Chiefs to tank, and the thing was suck for Andrew Luck. Let's get Andrew Luck. He was the best quarterback prospect. A lot of people thought since John Elway. And I remember blasting him, and I remember he even responded to one of my things on social media because I was like, "This is idiot." Well, actually, he responded when I told him it was. I told him on a social media post, I think it was Twitter, that I thought this was stupid, but you look like you're right. Remember, Luck was drafted, and then in his second year, the Chiefs were up 38-10. At Indianapolis in the third quarter in the playoffs against Andrew Luck, who just threw a pick 6, and Andrew Luck ended up scoring 5 touchdowns in under 2 quarters to win that game. Maybe Nick Wright was correct, and it would have made sense for Kansas City at the time, who had Matt Castle and a just a god awful franchise, to suck for Luck. It would have made sense for them to tank. Did they do it? No, of course they didn't. No. They had the number 1 pick in the draft next year, and they had to take another name freeze. They had to take, and he's now in Indianapolis. Had a great year too. Eric Fisher. NFL teams don't tank. I don't believe NFL teams tank. I think Flores, even if he's right, even if Stephen Ross said that, and even if Jimmy Haslam told Hugh Jackson to tank, going about it this way was the wrong thing to do. This comes across like a child throwing a hissy fit. It destroyed any chance he has of being a head coach, because if he doesn't get his way, he's going to throw a temper tantrum. If you guys disagree, I understand. If you guys think I'm out of line, I get it. I'm offering my opinion. All right. So look, I'm behind on comments. Let's see what we got here. Rule be head coach. I think Herm Edwards is really entrenched at Arizona State. He's actually doing a really good job on the recruiting class. I am surprised at how well Herm has adopted to college life, but he's done a world-class job at Arizona State, and I think he's going to stay there for a very, very long time. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if Matt Rule is fired after year 3. They have to give him a lot of money, but your owner can afford it. So I'm giving him time to leave. Give. That's why I said it's like, of all your draft was awesome. The only pick that didn't pan out was Levi, and you got to give. I think you got to give him at least 1 year. Remember, he sat out for COVID. I don't think he belongs in a 3-4 scheme either, but give him a year. We will see. Mac has talented enough team to get there. Yeah, Mac. Yeah, the Patriots, by the way, when I break down my teams, Patriots are definitely a team on the positive. Dude only ratted when he got fired. Dude never wanted Tua. Got fired for saying he wanted to move to draft another quarterback. The owner and GM wanted Tua, so he fought it, and he got fired in a story. Move on. You remember Tank for Tua. They really, really, really wanted Tua. If I remember right, Flores really wanted Tua. So, dude only ratted when he got fired. I think you're wrong there, man. I think you're wrong there. And I'm pretty sure he was public with his praise on Tua. But as far as he fought it, so he got fired, that wasn't it at all, man. He was fired because he didn't get along with front office personnel. He fired a lot of coaches. And he also didn't get along with players, too. So we'll agree to disagree. But that's the whole point of this channel is I want to get other people's opinions. I gave mine. I want to hear yours. Troy Brown later said that Mac Jones is – yeah, he did. Yeah, I'm really high on Mac Jones. Really high on Mac Jones. And I thought Jones would be the worst one. I'll eat crow in that one. I don't remember you being down on Jones. Huh. The Flores topic is sketchy. The Giants say they have proof that they didn't agree on the hiring Dable till the day after Belichick sent the text. The text on – I'm not familiar with the Belichick text. He just sees if he – yeah. This isn't about black and white. The dude didn't want Tua and the ownership did. I think Flores was really high on Tua. Also, I could be wrong on that, but management definitely wanted Tua. I think the Chargers, if they had the number 1 pick in the draft, they would have taken Herbert. The Bengals obviously took Burrow, and I think Miami would have taken Tua. But I think Flores was really, really, really on board with Tua. I could be wrong on that. I don't think teams throw games. I don't think it. Why do we need more black coaches? What if white people who make over 60% of the nation start screaming equality on the field of whites were represented? All right. One pride, all the tank for Lawrence was a real. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because if it was true, he would be in New York, not in Jacksonville. I don't agree with this at all. I promise you, Rule tanked it after Darnold got hurt. I don't agree with that. We did because we wanted a day one Pro Bowler in Linderbaum. The Rooney Rule is absolutely horrible. It tells rich people run everything in the world they have to do. I 100% agree with you, and I get why it was implemented. They got to do something different. They got to do something different. They got to do something different. But I 100% agree with you on this. Red Sea Corey, you can 100% disagree with me anytime. This is not a show where I'm right and you're wrong. I never want this to be a show where everybody has to agree with me. I offer my opinion and I want to hear from you. You are not rude by disagreeing with me. You're not rude for telling me I'm wrong, and you're not rude for telling me I'm misinformed. So Red Sea says, not trying to be rude, but you seem kind of misinformed, Dan. Flores' whole issue is that the Giants made their decision days in advance and only brought him in to fill the Rooney Rule requirements. I am fully aware that's what he said. I don't agree with it. I think the Giants brought him in. I think they brought in Dable, and I thought it was a fair hire. Now, did they bring him in only to bring in the Rooney Rule? They could have brought in anybody. I think they brought him in as a legitimate candidate. That's my opinion. I think that's good business sense, is that you want to bring in somebody who has experience, hear what they have to say. I think that they went with Dable, and I think they went with Dable fairly. I wouldn't have been mad I think the Giants, if they hired Flores, I thought that would have been a good move. Maybe a better move. But I don't think Flores sitting here and saying that the Giants made their decision days in advance because he didn't get the job is childish. And even if he's right, doing it the way he did is wrong. Going public, blowing up, throwing a hissy fit, 100% wrong. Even if he's right, the way he did it is wrong. I'm sure they don't like being forced into something, so they won't take it seriously. You're right about that. Anybody who's forced to do something is not going to take it serious. Anybody who's forced to do something is not going to take it serious. I agree with that. The NFL does need to change. I don't have the answers as to what they need to do, but I think that Flores got a legitimate I believe he got a legitimate interview by the Giants. He didn't get the job, and he's throwing a temper tantrum. Well, who was his backup at Campbell squad? Yeah. Campbell, the one thing I love about Dan Campbell is that team fought tooth and nail every single game. Rooney Rule, you are correct. You are correct about this. However, in the Flores situation, I think the Giants, I think he had a legitimate interview. I can't remember if it was him that said that when he interviewed for the Broncos, Elway went out drinking, came to the interview hungover, and I don't believe that. I think it was Flores. Dan Campbell's a jewel. Glad your team has him. I agree with that. Yeah. The Rooney Rule is dumb or happy he's our coach. You should be happy. I want to be very clear. I'm not hating on Dan Campbell at all. I'm not hating on Dan Campbell. I'm just saying if he wins 3 games again next year, he's going to be gone. Red Sea, they had interviewed 2 other black guys before they hired him, plus the text Bill sent to him the day before the Giants made their decision. The Bill Belichick text I am not familiar with. So the new one is that AAs can't be racist. Then you show Webster Dictionary what racism is, and they call it right privilege definitions. All right. It's kind of weirdo the show turned. But I want to hear from everybody's opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I want to be very clear about that. If I ever come across like I'm saying that I have to be right 100% of the time, it's not what this show's about. I always want other people to come in. And I love it when people disagree with me. I love it when people disagree with me. Like me and One Pride 40 completely disagree on Campbell being on the hot seat. I love this opinion. Excuse me. It's insulting to waste a potential black coach's time to interview him if you have no intention. 100% agree, but I think the interviews are valid. I think they're valid. I don't think that Flores got a token interview. I think he got a valid interview. That's what I think. I could be wrong. But to come out after you don't get the job and throw a hissy fit like he did is the wrong thing. Yes, Hugh Jackson came out after Flores came out, and here's the deal: if that's what the deal is, I get it. But Haslam was right; he never accepted responsibility. I mean, if you watch him during Hard Knocks, like I watched every single Hard Knocks, and you can tell Hugh Jackson and Dave Campo were two coaches that you could tell like were just had no business being NFL head coaches. That said, I think he's doing a great job, or I think it's a great hire by Grambling. He hasn't coached there yet, but he's done a good job in the recruiting trail so far. So it's a great job that Grambling got him. I wish him nothing but success. I don't believe that Haslam asked him to tank. I don't believe that at all. It tore my heartstrings seeing Dan Krybau's team not closing out the win that week one to do. Yeah, he does. He does. I'm pulling for Dan Campbell, but he has to be on the hot seat, especially if the Lions win 3 games. You can't be you can't win 3 games back-to-back years. It happened in Cincinnati, which was 2 and 4 wins, 29 to 30. 30 other NFL teams will fire a coach for that. So I just thought he did. He was not cut out to be an NFL head coach. Here's what I don't understand. Why is nobody attacking the two black GMs that just hired white guys? That's a fantastic point. Fantastic point. McCown could be a head coach, but he's never coached a day in his life. He has 15 years of backup quarterback experience under his belt. Flores just could have accepted the head coaching job. He should have. He should have. There was public talk about him really wanting the Giants job. Apparently he's from Jersey and he really wanted that job. And I think the Giants would have made a good move in hiring him because the defense was perfect. Now he would have had some corners, but the front 7 would have been very similar. And I think it was a young, talented front 7. So I wouldn't have minded that at all. He could have taken the Houston job. I think if he really wanted the Houston job and really went all in on the Houston job, because there was lots of public talk that he wanted to go back to Jersey, wanted to go for the Giants. If there was public, if he would have said like, him and Casio worked together in New England, don't they have a past? If he would have said, hey man, we work together, I could see us doing a lot of good things together, he'd probably be the head coach of the Houston Texans. So Chicago, Minnesota have black GMs that helped in their decision. You know what? I didn't even touch base on that. And I kind of forgot about that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. Alex McCann was Tua's original mentor. Look at the guys he mentored. He mentored Cam Newton too. I forgot that he mentored Cam. Hey, I'm glad you said that because I'm glad you said that because I don't want it to be like the old generation's good and young generation's bad. And I know I came across that way. But it's kind of a society thing where, especially with men and not slaying on you, but men are taught to be feminine. Okay, I'm gonna stop the rant right there, but you get it. Hopefully you get it. And it's kind of funny. I always assumed that you were about my age, and then you're like, I'm 23. I'm floored. So. Let's be honest. People didn't want Matt because he wasn't a black dual threat. You're not wrong. All right. How often are head coaches fired and immediately go to another coaching job? Not too often, right? Usually it takes a year or so back to coordinate, reset, and build value. Yeah, and this is a trend. The NFL trend now is that you want young offensive minds. It used to be that you wanted experienced defensive minds. The Dallas Cowboys, when they hired Mike McCarthy, were public, like, hey, we went with an inexperienced guy. My girlfriend used to call him the redhead. Jason Garrett. They had an inexperienced guy in Jason Garrett. Okay. So they wanted a guy with experience. Hey, we need a guy who's won a Super Bowl before. So they hired Mike McCarthy. Kansas City, they went with Andy Reid. Had experience. He was just fired from Philly. But yeah. 10 years from now, the trend may be we want experienced coaches. But right now, today, Dennis Allen, I'm shocked, hasn't got another job. He's being interviewed for the Saints job. He's the Saints defensive coordinator, world-class defensive coordinator. Had a job with the Raiders when he was a young defensive coordinator. He was actually the Broncos defensive coordinator. He was like 32 when he got the Raiders job, and that was a disaster. And I thought he deserved another chance. And he probably will get one. Excuse me. Yeah. Did you see Tom Brady blasting the woke going on Ohio State, choosing Fields over Haskins? Fields and Haskins over Joe Burrow. It's funny. Urban Meyer was adamant. I remember he was on the Around the Six podcast, and when he was talking about Joe Burrow, and they were trying to get him to back off the comment, but he said Haskins had more talent than Burrow. He was a better passer than Burrow. He goes, Haskins is the best passing quarterback. He had the most passing talent of any quarterback ever coached. And they're like, well, what about Burrow? And he goes, no, he was better than Burrow. And Urban Meyer was adamant that Haskins won the job over Burrow. He didn't say anything bad about Burrow. He gave Burrow a ton of praise. He had said that Haskins was better. And Haskins at Ohio State was phenomenal. I mean, I thought Haskins was going to go to the Giants at 6, and I thought he would have deserved it. I had no idea of the immaturity. Apparently, a lot of NFL teams did. But if you watch Haskins play at Ohio State, that's a top 10 quarterback in any day of the week. I mean, his tape at Ohio State's like A+. Now, of course, what Joe Burrow did at LSU, I mean, that team, that might be the greatest college offense of all time. So, yeah. It doesn't matter who you draft. It's how you develop them. Mills and Jones shined above all of the rooks, yet there was a generational talent in Jacksonville. Development matters, and Tua was not developed well. Absolutely, Alex. And I kind of wish I would have touched base on this again. Quarterback, in the NFL, quarterback has all sorts of external factors. Okay. You got to be in the right place. All right. I'm not saying the two are equal. Okay. I'm not saying the two are equal. Well, Patrick Mahomes was drafted into Kansas City. You had a great quarterback coach who was at the time, I believe it was Nagy. I believe the quarterback coach was Nagy at the time. If I remember right, and I could be wrong, when Mahomes was drafted by Kansas City, Doug Peterson was the offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy was the quarterback coach, and Eric Bieniemy was the running backs coach, if I remember right. Alex Smith was starting quarterback. Alex Smith embraced him. Alex Smith took him under his wing. They became great friends. And Alex Smith helped mentor Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes that a year played the last game of his rookie year. A lot of name freezes today. Drew Lock goes to Denver. All right. They have Joe Flacco. does Joe Flacco take him under his wing? Does just the opposite, shuns him. He's public. He goes, look, my job's not to develop the kid. My job's to win games as starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos. You have defensive-minded head coach, multiple schemes, new offensive coordinator, multiple schemes. Doesn't work well with his skill set. Doesn't try to develop him. And he's going to be gone. He's not going to be in Denver. Am I saying that Drew Lock, under the right circumstances, would be the next Patrick Mahomes? No, but Drew Lock's talented enough to be an NFL starting quarterback. But he was developed the wrong way and bombed. And in the NFL, the quarterback position has so many external factors. The reason why Patrick Mahomes is because you had the right coaching staff, Alex Smith, and you waited a year. I remember I had a conversation with a Bills fan. I said, what would when if Patrick Mahomes was there? And this fan also thinks that Josh Allen's way better than Mahomes. So I don't hold stock. But she said, because Josh Allen struggled his first 2 years, she said, Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes in Buffalo. And she's right. Because at the time, he struggled. And it took Josh Allen a couple of years. His first 2 years, he was a below average quarterback. His last 2 years, elite. So, all right. The fourth pick seems to be a sweet spot. At 4, you take the best defensive prospect, and no one would cry. You took safety with Benny Blades with him all time. Oh, yes, Benny Blades. God, he was good. Pride, you're right. People want Field and Lances over to Burrows and Joes. You're right. You're right. I know, Dustin, even against McCown, just saying we may go get him, and he ain't even an offensive coordinator. It's rare, but I'm not 100% sure if the Bengals coach. I think the Bengals coach was actually just the quarterback's coach. I don't think he was the offensive coordinator. Andy Reid was the quarterback's coach. He wasn't an offensive coordinator. He's not bad. Dustin, did I take Burrow and Lance? So what was that placement amongst people? Did I get my sorry, I'm out of coffee, and I was meaning to have this be a short show, and we're going over 2 hours. I'm going to get through a lot of these comments, and then I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to try to get all these comments in. But I mean, if I miss your comments, I'm sorry. But I'm losing my voice, and I was not planning to go for over 2 hours. So, Tom Brady even joked saying he'd be the last pocket guy because I guess I like Lance, and I'm in your middle. Last dual threat quarterback to win was Russell Wilson. I don't even know if I could. I love Russell Wilson's. There's a lot of things about Russell Wilson I like. I want to argue that he's a dual threat, but yeah, that's not wrong. I mean, I really want to argue it because as his career's progressed, he's become a better and better passer. But you're right. When he won the Super Bowl, he was a dual threat. I think Burrow is a flashy QB. The run first QBs will come. Exactly. That was an issue I had with Marcus Mariota. Anyway, okay. That was almost a decade ago. If Houston offered him a head coaching position, he'd say no. Then I'd say Flores' position is heavily hurt. We agree on Flores. I'm glad. I think more people would disagree with it, and that's okay if you do. But I think that the one thing I will say is that whether he's right or wrong, the way he's handled himself is not right. So Burrow and Jones are so damn good, you have to look at them. Fields is straight up garbage, but hey, let's get him because he can. I'm okay if Fields being trash because else I lie. It's Eberflus is in for Eberflus, who was the Colts defensive coordinator, has come out and he says, hey, we're going to build our offense around Justin Fields. And I'm wondering, how is he going to do that? I don't know who their offensive coordinator is. He better get a good one because he is raw as hell. Dustin, teams win chips. Yes, the QB can lose you the game, but if he puts his team on his back is nonsense to me because somebody has to get open linemen, stuff, do their job, and no QB can win. As the Bengals teams win chips, Burrow is carrying that team. Not alone. The defense is world class. The defense made a lot of plays. Trey Hendrickson was a brilliant signing. A set of Bengals records. Sam Hubbard's pretty good. They drafted some really good young linebackers. Jesse Bates, maybe the best safety in football. I'd argue that, but definitely a top 5. That defense is loaded with talent, and they drafted a heavy defense over the last couple of years. I thought they should have drafted Chase Young over Burrow, but excuse me. Man, my voice is fading fast. Flores wanted to draft Fields this year and trade Tua. It will come to light. I did not know that. I'm pretty sure Flores. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Flores was on the Tua train. Flores didn't want D4. Watson wanted to be in Miami, and Ross wanted him, but Flores said no. Flores didn't care about the ownership, wanted butted heads leading it. Flores did butt heads. I don't know that. All right. Burrow making some real nice catches, making stops on defense. That's nothing to do with the trio wide receiver. You do no, you do not. No, you do not. We've kind of touched base on that. So, well, Dan, you're missing a lot without Belichick. Yeah, I have no idea. I really don't. So you're right. For real, Denver, Burrow making things happen because his entire line is shit. It's all Burrow glitz receivers. What they're paid to do is catchable balls. I think you're really missing track on how well the Bengals defense has played, and the brilliant signing of Trey Hendrickson, who's played phenomenal. I also had a really great AFC conference title game. So yeah. Dable is interviewed almost a week before Flores. There was multiple interviews. And Flores also got multiple interviews too. So Dan really read into the text info and the New York response. Things are sketchy all over in this situation. Now I kind of want to go on the stream right now. Dan, you are pretty. Yeah, I know. I went on a rant, and I'm going to end the show here very soon. I'm losing my voice. I can't believe the Pats hire Adam Gase. I didn't know that. The Rooney Rule isn't good for anybody because of exactly what Dan is talking about right now. If the Giants ownership interviewed Flores legitimately, the seed of doubt can always be alleged. Exactly. I believe that Flores got legitimate interviews, didn't get his way, and now it's just throwing a hissy fit. So yeah. All you do is interview 3 AA guys first, and interview the white guys last, and hire you want, and no one can accuse you. Exactly. Again, I offer my opinion. I think Flores got legitimate interviews. If it comes like they didn't, I have no problem saying I'm wrong. I think that all he's doing is he didn't get his way, and he's just throwing a temper tantrum. What he should have done is either get the Houston job, be a defensive coordinator, and he would have gotten another shot sooner or later. All right. It only got blown out. Yeah, okay. Do you really? No. Okay, one pride. Maybe I'm not making myself clear. I don't see this at all. The Lions, I've said this since the beginning of the 2021 season. The Lions are building a foundation and everything's just going up. That's why if they win 3 games, it would have to be a complete disaster. That's why if they only win 3 games, it would be a monumental disaster. That's why he would get fired. So Giants are destined to get Dable the second they interview. They signed a new GM from the Bills. The Belichick texted to Flores before interview, then says Elway's hungry for the interview. Of course he was. Yeah, so what Flores is saying is that John Elway went out drinking and was hungover and looked like shit before the interview. And there's a 0% chance that this happened. 0% chance. Being racist is human nature. It's human nature to be leery things that are not your norm. God, man, I kind of want to touch base on this, but I'm not. I'm gonna get some comments, and I kind of want to wrap up. I'm losing my voice, but you have an excellent point. Keeping an open mind is what's important to me. Racist has no meaning. It's too tainted from what it used to be. You're 100%, Dustin. I'm so glad you're back, man. I've missed having you here, and I hope that you're a fixture on the show going forward. Even if we disagree, I definitely want to get your input. I definitely want to hear about what you think the Panthers are going to do at pick number 6. Reach around that Raiders are hiring Patrick Graham, just like. By the way, One Pride and me were on completely different opposite ends on Stafford. One Pride was right, I was wrong, and we disagree on the Josh McDaniels hire. I think it's a home run, and One Pride thinks it's bad. We'll find out. Pride, if he wins only 3 games, the whole team better get exactly. No. I'm going to be very clear. I mean, you have to understand we saw free agency, the draft, the off season. But no, I do not see the. No, I do not. I do not see this at all. The Raiders have hired DC Patrick Graham. I did not know that either. I forget who it was they hired on the offense, but what the Raiders have done and what Denver's done has made the AFC West a lot of fun. Patrick was like, I'm out of this shit show. You're not wrong, man. I meant to be alpha dogs. Haskins was awful. No. Haskins' tape at Ohio State was very impressive. I will 100% disagree with you there. Fields wasn't unimpressive, but when I watched Fields, it was like 1-2, 1-2, run, 1-2. I mean, he wasn't asked to do a lot. That's why he was exceptionally raw. Haskins did a lot more than Fields. The Haskins tape is impressive at Ohio State. I mean, granted, one thing about Ohio State over the last couple of years is like they got all sorts of NFL talent surrounding that team, and it was tough. It was tough, for the Big Ten. I thought this would be Michigan's year. But I mean, Ohio State just for the last couple of years just had all sorts of talent. It was crazy because they got a team that would compete in the SEC against a weaker Big Ten. Well, now the Big Ten's gotten a lot better. So I disagree with this, but in this show, I want people to disagree. So, and they went to another. Haskins' number said top 10. His tape said otherwise. I just remember watching Haskins, and the arm talent was off the chart. I heard what kept him out of the top 10 was a lot of coaches were like, no, he's got maturity issues. But Urban Meyer was adamant that Haskins was better than Burrow, and it's hard to believe now, but at the time you kind of got to take his word for it. So. Currently, no. I'm talking about my old girlfriend used to love the Cowboys. She called Jason Garrett the redhead. That was her definition. She did not like him at all. So my 2-year-old sit on my lap watching football talk. All right. I'm sorry. Dustin. I'm sorry, man. I do use some profanity, but I try to keep it in motion. So I do not. I did. I'm trying to wrap this up because I ran out of coffee about 30 minutes ago. I have nothing to drink. I slammed an energy drink right before I did the show. I made coffee and I came on the show thinking I was just going to go in for an hour because I wanted to keep it short. And now we're going for 2:15. So damn, Dustin. Okay, I got to ask you something. Does it mean does it look like Ritter has the best arm motion in the Senior Bowl? Kind of makes me think the same motion Warren Moon had, not the strength. Ritter's the best dual threat. I love Ritter, so I love his game. I think his stock's just going to continue. When everything's said and done, it wouldn't surprise me if Ritter ends up being top 10. I have it right now. He can actually do it all. I tested by. Holy shit! Oh God, dude, One Pride 40. I'm so sorry, man. Listen, you can. All my social media links should be in the description. You can always email me too. Let me know you're feeling, because if I don't hear from you next week, I'm going to be worried. Okay, everybody, quick. Dustin, what do you think of Willis? Dad said 3/4 arm release is best. Guy. I really want you to contribute more with the show, and I want to hear more about the quarterback prospects. So I don't think Russell is a true rule threat. I think he's smart, mobile quarterback. Not anymore, but when he won the Super Bowl, he was more of a dual threat. He's evolved and grown as a passer. Everyone going to be hating on you on Houston, going to see them in the Super Bowl with Mills behind center, McCown with the headset on. I would love it. So Willis is a less talented Michael Vick. Dustin, so amazement, man. Dan, we think the spread would be by kickoff. Would you bet now till line moves? I made a bet now, and I'll probably wait till the line moves. Shit. I said I wasn't going to say anything. The line's going to go probably towards the Rams, so depending on how you want to bet on that. So do you think my Bucks will go after Jimmy G, Russ, Rodgers, maybe a long shot? I personally think that if the Steelers aren't dead set on drafting quarterback, Jimmy G to Pittsburgh makes the most sense. The Matt Canada offense is a short passing game. That's what Jimmy G excels at. I don't think Rodgers would go to Tampa Bay. Just a hunch. I don't think Rodgers wants to play in a Bruce Arians offense, even though I think he'd be a perfect fit. I just don't see it. I don't know why. I just got a feeling that Arians and Rodgers would not get along. Just a hunch. I may be way off. Just a hunch. As of today, I think Rodgers will end up in Denver. He was very, very high on and gave a lot of praise to Nathaniel Hackett, who's now the head coach in Denver. Russell Wilson in Tampa would be a lot of fun. I think that would be a great fit. But I think Russell Wilson's going to stay in I think he's going to stay in Seattle. And I don't know why. I just don't see Rodgers going to Tampa Bay. However, I'm losing my voice. Rodgers and Arians' offense works perfect. All right. I didn't think Brady would, but Rodgers would. I just got a feeling that Rodgers wouldn't want to play for Arians. I don't know why. What Tampa Bay is going to do at quarterback is going to be really interesting. I'd be shocked. Jimmy G, no, because Jimmy G's deep ball is kind of a weakness. But what Tampa Bay does at quarterback position is going to be really interesting. He's between Vic and Russell Wilson, in my opinion. He'll be decent and make it a 10-year career, but won't win it all. All right. All righty, y'all. I'm going to get off here. Alex, thanks, brother, man. Keep me informed with all the Texan stuff via Twitter. I really appreciate it. Follow Alex on Twitter. It's great Twitter follow. I've seen Elway lately. Dude always sucks. Not without Sean Payton being there. I'm kind of curious what the Saints are going to do. Of all the jobs, the Saints job looks to be the least appealing, because that's a team that just needs, to me, it looks like just needs to be blown up and kind of rebuilt. There was 3 candidates. I know Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, the Saints defensive coordinators, one other name, and I'm drawing a blank on who it is. So depends on who they hire. Stick with my McDaniels prediction. He's there 2-3 years max. I got to be right. We'll find out. Hey, you're right about Stafford. Stroud over Fields. All right. Stroud looks nice. That's a fact, at least right now. One pride I'd go neither. Quinn Ewers debacle is the new Joe Burrow and trash against the debate. People are going to be laughing that they played Stroud over Ewers. All right. Damn, you're picky when it comes to a quarterback position. I have to look at Ewers, but Stroud is easily the best QB I've seen at Ohio State. It wouldn't surprise me if Stroud wins the Heisman, but when I watch Ohio State, who I don't know the guy's name, but that running back is just oh my God, when I watched that running back, like, I mean, that's a first round pick, and that's a lot. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So, Ears are rated number one QB in the nation as a junior when Stroud was a senior in high school. I can tell Dustin's all love though. Have to see him. LOL. If you're going to win games, you got to do more and run. Facts. Earwood's going to make Sarkisian a hot topic next year at Texas. God, I would love to talk more college football too, especially Sarkisian in Texas in the SEC. But my voice is running in. We're 2:20. But Dustin, please don't go away for months. Come back. Talk with us, man. Your impact or your input is awesome. So I'm really losing my voice here. Quarterback next year is McCall. One pride of Ears as a junior in high school. As a senior, Ears was around number one QB in the nation. Amazement. Do you see that article? Has a golf trade to Tampa Bay. I saw that too, by the way. Roger, I saw that. I don't believe that's going to happen. I wouldn't mind Carr either. Okay. Before I get off, I want to say this. Part of the reason I love the McDaniels hire is that McDaniels and Carr are going to work perfectly together. Carr is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's an MVP candidate, and Carr is coachable. Carr is smart. Carr can make all the throws. He's just not Patrick Mahomes. As of today, he isn't Justin Herbert either, but this is a really, really good quarterback, and I think it's a perfect fit with McDaniels. That's why I love this. Is because Carr and McDaniels working together. Now, if the plan that McDaniels and I don't know the general manager's name off the top of my head is to get rid of Carr, then everything I said about this being a great hire is wrong. I like it because it works good with Carr. So you have your quarterback, you have your head coach and your general manager all together. You got your quarterback. So that's why I like it. Now, if the plan is to move on from Carr, then everything I said is wrong. Wow, then I can see where Ohio State messed up. Ohio State picking Sound over Ears was okay. That's why Brady's calling them out right now. We're still in win now mode, so I can definitely see making a trade at this point. Mason would take off. This team is pretty solid. He could be enough to get you the chip. I would take Carr over Goff 8 days a week. So would I. If your plan, if the plan for the Raiders is to move on from Carr, everything I said is off the table. The reason why I like this move is because it works with Derek Carr and you have a top 10 quarterback, and I think they're going to work together. The offense that they're going to run is going to work perfect with Derek Carr. Golf isn't terrible. I can see him playing very well with us. I've seen that. I don't think that's going to happen. Carr is today's Phillip Rivers. So I'm very high on Phillip Rivers. So I don't know what you mean. I'm very high on Rivers. I'm assuming you are too, but I don't know that for a fact. But if that's the case, then yeah. By the way, Phillip Rivers will be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's a borderline Hall of Famer at all, but that's just my opinion. I know lots of people agree with you, Funk. They think he's borderline. I don't think so at all. He scared me more than any other player coming to Arrowhead. Any other player. That includes Elway. I would say so. Gruden getting fired is worth it. Yeah. I think they win an extra 1 or 2 games. I think they make a playoffs with Gruden. Now they made the playoffs anyway, but do you remember the first 3 weeks of the season? The Raiders were 3-0. They beat the Ravens. I forget the other 2 games. I'm not going to look it up, but Derek Carr was playing lights out football. He had over 1,200 yards passing. Remember, he had that touchdown in overtime against the Ravens, and Carr was MVP after the first 3 weeks of the season, and he played lights out. And I think that with McDaniels, you go from a top 10 quarterback, maybe higher. So, I mean, this, yeah, you're 100% correct here. And I think in McDaniels, you get somebody kind of similar to Gruden in a way. A smart offensive mind. And the fact that you're on your second team, I think means a lot. So, all right, I got to wrap up. My voice is gone. All right, $60 million off the books and move on for golf. Okay, I'd sell for a QB at the end of the first. I only like Willis at the end of the first if you have golf and he sits for a year. Okay. Would you make Burrow a top 5 QB if he wins the Super Bowl? God, that's a tough one. I'm going to say this. He reminds me a lot of Joe Montana. I don't know. Maybe that's a weak answer. But yeah, I have to ask if he's borderline with talent. He needs to get chipped again in though. Burrow is a better Tony Romo with more talent. That's high praise. I'm gonna say this. He reminds me a lot of Joe Montana. Joe Montana. So, all right. Look, I'm going to wrap up. I'm losing my voice literally. This was a great show. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Kind of went on a lot of rants. Next week, I'm going to break down. I'm going to give you my Super Bowl pick next week. I'm going to go into a lot of the prop bets. And I'm going to reveal I've already made a bet. I'm going to tell you this right now. I already made a bet on the Super Bowl. I'm going to reveal it next week's show. This was a great show. Thanks, everybody, for the input. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see everybody back next Friday.